Turning to Baltimore now. It's been exactly 1 year since the death of Freddie Gray. You'll recall that Mr. Gray died while in police custody, and the event sparked riots throughout the city, leading to multiple confrontations between police and protesters on the streets of Baltimore. Freddie Gray's death has also led to a national debate over police treatment of the black community. Deray McKesson is an activist for the Black Lives Matter movement in Baltimore and is also now a candidate in the mayoral election in that city. Deray, good to have you on.
It's good to be here.
So let me ask you first about Freddie Gray. It's been 1 year since he died. Have you seen any change in the city of Baltimore?
So a couple things have changed. And most importantly, there's a conversation about police and race and justice in ways that didn't exist before last year. And that's really important. More people are talking about these issues and coming together to think about solutions in ways that are really powerful. And secondly, we've seen actual legislation at the state level. So citizens are more involved in training and discipline with the police because of legislation that just passed. There's a lot more to go, though. When we think about the city police department, the contract doesn't allow for officers to be automatically drug tested when they're involved in deadly force shootings. It's still okay to hog tie and chokehold people in the city. And those are changes that we need to make if we're ever going to have a police department with integrity and accountability.
Deray, let me ask you this. As mayor, how would you attempt to repair the relationship between the police and community? Obviously, someone like yourself who's been in the thick of it from the very beginning would have a lot of insights that you would be able to offer the police department, and they could learn from you as well. What would you do to fix it?
Yeah, so we know that the safety of our communities is not predicated on the presence of police. If I ask you where you feel the most safe, it's not a room full of police. It's probably where there are people who love you, where there's food and shelter. When people think about the police, they think about prevention, but the crime prevention work really isn't police work. That's strong schools, families, jobs. The response to crime is more police work, but we know so many people have mental health trauma, and the response to all trauma can't be somebody with a gun. And then the last is about solving crime, and that is police work, but that can't happen without integrity and accountability in the police department. So there are a host of concrete things that we could do. The DOJ needs to expand their current pattern and practice review to include school police and internal affairs. We need to change the police union contract and the use of force rules here in the city. We can do that today.
Have you had some discussions with the police in Baltimore?
Yeah, so I met with the FOP and we had an interesting meeting where we agreed that the city should be safer, but we didn't agree on how to get there necessarily. And I did meet with one of the past presidents of the FOP, and we had a great conversation where he acknowledged that the police don't want to be the center of what it means to be safety, but the police want to exist in a continuum of a conversation about safety. That safety is about more than policing. It's about schools and jobs and resources as well.
Deray, you've obviously been integral in the Black Lives Matter movement. That form of protest is seen by some people as disruption, but now you're sort of trying to be part of the infrastructure, part of the system. How do you resolve that with what you do now and what you eventually hope to accomplish should you be elected mayor?
Yeah, so when we think about protests, it is often people who have tried other means and just haven't been heard. So when people are frustrated by what happened in Baltimore, what happened in Ferguson, I push them to also explore the American Revolution and the Boston Tea Party as similar incidents. When I think about what we do moving forward, it is about making sure there are people on the inside as well who can really do the things that need to be done in communities, that people always have to push from the outside. That's a part of what it means to be in America. But people also need to be on boards and commissions and in office. And I have a track record of working at the grassroots level, but also inside institutions, and know how to affect change.
So give us a sense of how your campaign is being run. You obviously, like you point out there, you have the grassroots experience. Clearly, you're using, I follow you on Twitter. I follow your social media accounts. That's one component, and it's been very effective at all levels of government. What are some of the other more traditional things that you're doing to get out that vote for you?
Oh, so the question is, how do we get in front of as many people as possible? So social media is one, so a robust Twitter platform and Facebook, but it is really about talking to voters. So we knock 1,000 doors a day here in Baltimore. We also go to forums and house parties. I think about the very first house meet and greet I ever went to was somebody who DM'd me on Twitter and said, Deray, if I get 40 of my friends together, will you come to the house? And we just had one last night. So that is a part of the campaign. We had a mailer go out. We were going to have a robocall go out. So it is a host of strategies, knowing that social media is just one of the tools in the toolkit.
All right, let me ask you the final question. These 6 police officers that have been charged in Freddie's death, what toll do you think the unresolved cases are having on the community? It's going to be some time now before we see any kind of closure. How do you think it's affecting people?
Yeah, I think that people are watching closely. I think that these cases will be a model for how prosecutors can hold police accountable. What is different here about all the other cases around the country is that they're all being tried individually. So I think that we actually won't see a response from community until at least 3 of the officers have been tried. You think about that first officer, he was not acquitted, but there was a hung jury. So we, in some ways, are still at the beginning of this work, but everybody's watching closely to see what precedent this sets in the city.
Deray, I know we got to let you go in just a minute, but I have to ask you real quick before you go. So you're running for mayor of Baltimore. Do you feel that Stephanie Rawlings Blake has been a failure as mayor?
I think that Stephanie's done some good things. I think Stephanie has had some real missed opportunities. She knows that her time as mayor is up and that her legacy will be one that history will judge. I'm excited about the conversation about how we push the city forward. I think that she's done some good things and she's made some mistakes.
All right, Deray McKesson, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. Talk to you later.
All right.